I'm really sort of thinking all this stuff through kind of in real time while I'm kind of going like that, you know, trying to drop the spanner on your head. Okay, got my flares, my flare nuts. First thing you do is put them on so you don't forget. Damn it, I'm gonna have to do this again. It worked. The first one was mint. Oh well, cut that off, start again. Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the DMAC Customs garage, which is just under my house. It's nothing flash, it's just my garage. Back on the Area 51 just for a change. If you watched the last couple of videos, I've been working on getting this thing, the chassis a roller again, and I was doing the handbrake stuff and my theory on why it's a good time to buy an EV, which was just a random thing coming in my head. But I've got some parts that come in. Got my soft lines, bundy, popper stuff, fittings, other soft lines stuff. So I'm going to have a crack at doing the brake lines for the rear section of the car. Unfortunately, it's pretty crap weather, so I can't push the body out at this stage. It's supposed to get worse, so I'm going to have to try and work around what I've got here, and it's supposed to be summer, but anyway, let's get at it. Hey, right, so back here on the old axle housing and whatnot. So on these old ball walnut housing, they normally have this bracket here that bolts onto, I don't know, probably up there or something like that on the old Commodore application and whatnot. So I'm going to reuse this bracket, but I'm going to bend it like so it kind of will lay over the top of the diff there, and this the soft line here and the little fitting thing, the little brass doodad there, will bolt onto this. I kind of can't really show you one-handed. I need to set this camera up. Hang on a sec. Okay, so I've got the camera balanced precariously on the chassis. So I'm going to bolt that there, but there's these two little aluminium ribs on here that I'm going to need to kind of relief. So this will sort of bolt down flat on there. And then I'll straighten this out, and I'm going to flatten that over so it lands over there somewhere, and then this will go on there like that, and then I'll have to make the other end of a tab type thing to fit up under this crossbar to attach the other brake line to, and then I'll run the brake line down over there, and I'll have to run the side lines out to the calipers from there, that way and that way. So that's my plan. So I'm going to start off with marking out where I've got to relieve those bits of aluminium on there, and take from there. And then straighten this thing, bend this thing, do what I've got to make it do so it goes where I want it to go. And then I'll have to paint it and stuff. I've already given it a wire wheel just so it's a bit nicer to work with, and then yeah, we'll set about making some lines with my old cheapo flaring tool and see if I can straighten out this bundy. So I'm just gonna, a couple of quick marks on there, take that down to about there. Look, I'm going to take that one off to about there. So I just got to get the old I don't know, some kind of filing device to grind that bit of alloy down. So first hurdle, they don't normally bolt across the top here. I actually think they bolt onto the right hand side here. I can't remember how the truck's done without having to go and have a lay underneath it and whatnot. But the issue with this bracket is the bolt hole centers are different to the bracket from there, but they're the same at the side there. Now if I put it on this side, which is where I want it, because I'm going to run the brake line down there, well I actually want it kind of in the center, so I'm going to have to modify this slightly with a bit of maybe rebending somehow to close it up a little bit. It's about 1/8 of an inch out, like about 3 millimeters out. Yeah, see that bolt hole? There's my hand in the way. I don't know. Yeah, see that bolt hole there? It lines up in that one, but then that one's out. So I was just thinking of maybe sort of like trying to squeeze that up a bit, just to kind of pull it in. Won't be nothing too serious. While I'm at it, I'm gonna kind of straighten this piece out and whatnot, so I can kind of then decide where I want to fold it over the top, so it sits over the top like so ish. Yeah. Okay, let's go do that. Using the old cold chisel just to kind of sharpen up this fold a bit, and hopefully I can get that 1/8 of an inch out of it. Whack it, whack, whack, and more. Pretty close. I'm going to go and do a quick test fit and see whether it fits. Okay, so that actually worked too good. Now the gap's too small, so I'm going to take a little bit back out of it again, so bear with me. Alright, that should be about on point. No, not quite. I'll go and have a quick look. Okay, so it fits now. While I was there, I sort of put my little pen mark. That's where I'm going to fold that thing over there like that. So I'm just going to do that in the vise, I think. Or maybe that's going to hit. We'll get it as far as we can anyway. Right, let's go hammer. Go and have a look. Is that far enough? Don't know. Just do a little bit more hitting for fun. One more, almost there. Back. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, boy, check it out. So, perfect 90. Oh, maybe perfect 93.75. Just put those there. Right, so this is the kind of the plan. That'll be. I wonder if I should drill a new hole in this and bolt it a bit further onto the flat side of that. It's a little bit wonky, but it'll be alright because the it doesn't matter. I was just going to like put it through that hole, but it's not got a lot kind of leaning on it. Whereas if I put it on there, then we're going to have a bit more. Or even if I got it a bit further over, if possible, then it's kind of the flat is on the flat of the flat bit, yeah? So I wonder if I could do that. And I was thinking of just putting a rivsert thing in there to bolt it on there. Yeah, but like I say, I was just going to put it on there, but now it might have a bit too much flex in it. I might, yeah, I'll try and spread this hole out a bit and put it more onto the flat and do it that way, hopefully. Hole drill. There it is. Lucky last. Put the old rivsert in there. A little bit more. Yeah, okay. You don't want to go too tight with these riv nuts, because you can rip the guts out of them pretty easy, especially the alloy ones, as I've said in previous videos. Yeah, so that's there. I didn't end up taking out that hole. I just went with one of the original holes, and I might just trim that on that line there up and maybe round it off, make it a little bit more posh. That, yeah,
And then that's our little bracket almost done, other than whacking some paint on it, cleaning it up a bit. Give it a bit of a trim. Get rid of the drill. Oh, get out. Might just go straight into it with the old flat. And, oh, crikey. Be done with it. There it goes, I reckon. Doesn't matter that it's got that extra hole in there, eh? That'll just be covered up by the little brass T-junction on the old brake line. So we're going to put this back in place and figure out what to do next. So that's my little T thing kind of like in place. I did get it quite crooked, didn't I? Or was it? It's hard to tell. I've probably bent it up slightly, but I don't really want to bend it up anymore. What I have to account for with this is full droop and full suspension travel to work out where to attach it here, because I'm going to have about 11 inches of travel on the airbags to be able to get a wheel off without dropping bags and shocks and things like that. I need that 11 inches in that top hose so it can kind of travel all the way up. So I'm thinking I'll kind of like, I wonder if I should mount it underneath so it sits kind of like about there when it's, we're probably at about ride height at the moment as it's sitting, so I have to make a little tab thing to either weld or bolt onto this bar. Probably should weld it. Should have thought of all of this before I painted everything, but I knew there would be something like this. I didn't even think about this part, to be honest. So if I do a little tab that welds under, just kind of in line with it, I reckon with full travel we should be good. And we're not at laid out kind of height either at the moment, so this part will come up another couple of inches into this kind of cavity under the trays and stuff, the covers and shit like that. So I'm going to have to make a little tab, maybe out of some 3mm, and maybe give it a little weldy weld onto that bar, MIG, TIG, something like that, and then just touch up the paint again, because I knew this would happen. I told you. But yeah, right, we'll do that. We'll make a little tab to hook that brake line onto. Okay, so thought I'd check this. Drop the axle housing right down, so basically the shocks are completely topped out, and we only end up with like just under 10.5 inches anyway of travel. So I don't know where I got the 11 inches from. I think that's the bag specs that I was looking at. And so if we mount a tab up here, we're going to no way overextend this brake line. I was worried it was going to be like all kind of like all tight and not good. So if we can mount that there like so. What do on the inside there, or what's better? Under? Bear in mind I've got to run air lines all around this area as well, so because the valve block will be up around about here in the boot. Oh no, maybe about here, and so there's going to be air lines running down the back here also. So I could even potentially even run that a bit further off to the side underneath to allow for clearance for air lines, but then I have to factor in what happens when it comes all the way up. Give me a minute. Okay, so what I was saying about the air lines before, I just had a thought. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking they were going to come through under here, but the air fittings will come out above this height anyway, and this is pretty much on its bump stocks. It may come up a touch more, but it's not going to interfere with any of the inner trunk covers and things like that. So with that being said, I can kind of put this kind of anywhere along here, between sort of here and where that little wee white mark is. So I may just put a weld on a tab or bolt on a bit of a 90-degree sort of thing. What's the benefits of bolting it on as opposed to welding it on? I don't think it'll make a lot of difference, but being that it's already painted, I could just drill and tap it and bolt a a little 90-degree tab to hold this hose up there. So I'm really sort of thinking all this stuff through kind of in real time while I'm doing this. I think about it during the week when I'm upstairs like watching TV or something like that, and I'm kind of like thinking about all this stuff and then trying to remember what I've done as to how it's going to work, if it's going to work, and it's not till I come back down that I start kind of going, oh, no, it's not going to work, or it is going to work. So, traffic out there. I will set about making some sort of 90-degree tab. Yeah, can I get in there with a drill now? The other thing, I probably can if I drop the diff right down, drill it underneath. Yeah, we'll take this back off and we'll go and make us a little tab that I can use to hold that end of the line. Into the scrap drawer. What's that? That's 2mm, I think. Might be a bit light. I'm just looking at that lip there. Might be alright. Might rattle around a bit. What's that? Well, that's a bit of angle. That's 1/8 inch, 3mm. So yeah, I'll use this bit of angle, make myself a little tab, drill a hole through it, drill a hole to bolt it up under the chassis. Or do I weld it? I don't know. Let me think. I'll make it and then I'll decide to weld or drill and tap later. That. Right, so how straight is that? Oh, not very. So I'm going to put some marks on here, square this up with the old flat tack when I get that far. What I'm thinking, so either way, if I'm trying to put this on a round cylinder thing, it's going to have these overhangs, so I'm thinking of maybe doing a sort of cutting it that way and only having the overhangs at one end. If I bolt it, I just have like one through there. If I weld it, I could potentially just basically do one decent plug weld in the middle of it, and then I just have to touch up the little bracket. Yeah? Could that work? I don't know. Hang on. Let me do finish up drawing up my plan anyway. So what's that? It's about 30, so go about 15 in the centre, 10 on either side. And then get in there and cut that angle. And cut that angle, so I'll cut those off. And then I'll mark centre in there for me actual brake fitting. I have to measure it up, find out how big of a hole I need to make in there so it fits. How straight is that? So I'm going to drill a hole there. Alright, I'll just cut all this up and be back. So get the old boot ears again and figure out how big of a hole we need to make for this. What do we got? 16mm, so 16mm. Get a step bit, I reckon, for that particular task. I've got my little step bit set. So it's second to last one on that mamma jamma there, and it should be good to go. Wee. Take your skin off your fingers if you're not paying attention. So that's me hole drilled in there. It's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. Normally on a factory application on these, you've got a kind of hex shape in there, which kind of holds that captive. Being that I'm making this up, I haven't got anything to kind of make that hex shape or anything to cannibalize a tab off to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of strips of like 3mm, and I'm going to weld it onto the sides or across the top like that, just so I've got like a hard sort of I'll show you, like, you know, an edge for that to go up on and fit up like that. It's going to have to be pretty precise. I'm not sure if I've quite got the skills, but I've got a file. So yeah, I'll just cut a couple of little strips off of that and give them a little zap, tack them onto there just so it can hold it, so that can be like kind of locked in place. So when you're trying to undo or tighten up your flare nuts, it isn't just going to go spinny spinny, and you don't have to try and get a spanner on the other side and you're up there kind of going like that, you know, trying to drop the spanner on your head and stuff like that. So if you've done it with 2 spanners, it's just even worse. So that's what my plan is to mitigate the old 2 spanner system and make one of them redundant down to 1. But it's coffee time. Be back in a minute. Cut me a couple of little strips of this like that, nice and crooked. Now I'll square them up with the old flapper tap, and as Puddin calls them. And yeah, right, cut these, then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, so I just got to figure out how to get these in the right spot and keep them in the right spot. Here's my nope, moved when I pinched it up. Damn it. I can use my big Mickey Mouse gloves and try and pick up these little bits of metal when I drop them on the floor. Okay. Now, try and do that again on this side. Okay, so let's pinch that up a little bit of adjust on the old pterodactyls. No, don't fall out of the vise. Washing machine's finishing. Alright, so put a couple of, they're a little bit off, but I'm just going to tack them anyway. It doesn't have to be super pretty. Mig or Tig? Mig. Maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to put a little tack on either end, and then we'll look good, I reckon. Need some electricity. Here's the plug. There it is. Whoa, I haven't got much gas left. Alright. Washing machine's still beeping. Let's do this. Where's he? Where are we set? Alright, might be right. Right, where did that hose go? There it is. No, they did move a little bit. Damn it, how am I going to fix that? Violence, hammer. But we'll try it. Nearly. Shut up, Yeah, that's that. So now that'll go in there like that, and it won't be able to turn. See? Yeah. Still probably quite hot. But yeah, so that's my little stop it, turn around thing. And yeah, now I've got to figure out weld it or bolt it once it cools down. Alrighty, so after much deliberating and sciencing and stuff, I've decided I'm going to weld that tab on here. I'm just going to do a plug weld in the center through that hole there. And just because of the way this coils and that, when it's down here, it wants to kind of get up and rub on things, and right behind here is sort of sheet metal and stuff. And so when I put it here, dropped my chalk. It just kind of coils up quite nicely into this space here, which will have a bit of an air gap. Anyway, so that's where I'm going to put it. So I'm just going to clean up some steel on there. I was going to mark it till I drop the chalk. There it is. And then I'll just do, I don't know, try to clamp it in place and do some almighty plug weld into there. So if I clean up around that area, we should be good. So let's do it. Electricity. Alright, just see whether that's strong or not. I don't know. Yeah, don't know. I might put a couple other tacks in there just to hold it as well. Not sure if I got enough heat in there. Can I burn that paint off? Probably. Okay, so while I'm waiting for paint to dry on that, and I've just given that little bracket there, the one that bolts onto the diff, I gave that a bit of a with the old Rust-Oleum ×2 satin black. So got to let them kind of cure up. While I'm waiting for that paint to dry, I don't have to sit here and watch it. I can put some stuff away and start maybe straightening out some of that Bundy tube, the old nickel copper stuff there, and in preparation to start making my brake lines. Yeah, boy. And find my little budget brake line double flaring tool. Now, important, double flares. Yeah. Alrighty, so in the past, well, I've only done this a couple, three times before, built my own brake lines from scratch and stuff like that, like the whole car. I've just straightened this stuff by hand, and it always ends up a little bit sort of thing, but I mean, I'm going to be curving it around all over the place anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. But I thought I would try something that I read on the interweb this morning, which was drilling a hole through a block of 4x2 and kind of like feeding it through there, and it helps kind of like just sort of straighten it out without lots of this kind of stuff. So I didn't have a long enough drill, but I'd like to go through long ways, so it's got more going through straight ways, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a long enough drill, but, well, I didn't think I did, but I found this in my drawer, which is some sort of like welded together thing that I had prepared for some other little job. I don't know why I needed to do that, but I'm just going to drill a hole through there, and anyway, I'm just going to drill a hole, and then I'll run the Bundy through it, see if that works. So brace yourself. Power stance, 2000. Safety first. Hopefully that works. Alright.
fits in there anyway. It's probably a little bit bigger than I would have liked, but it'll be alright. It should be alright. We'll give it a try. Right, back again, having a little play with this. It sort of works. The hole that I drilled is just slightly too big, I think, so it doesn't pull it through like really super smooth, but kind of feeding it through like this gets it kind of straight enough, and then I can kind of cut off the lengths that I need and look for a pipe cutter, which I don't know where it is. I have to find that too. Yeah, and then I've got to bend it around all sorts of shapes and stuff to get it to get where I want it to go on the old rear end and down the chassis and all that kind of stuff. So let's do that. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so here in New Zealand, part of our like low volume vehicle certification, one of the stipulations for like P-clipping your brake lines and fuel lines and stuff like that. With brake lines, they have to be clipped minimum of 300 millimeters apart, or 12 inches roughly. So I have to kind of factor all that into how I clip up the brake lines and interference and what I can kind of clip them to. So keeping that in mind, that's kind of, again, another reason why I kind of put that there, because then I can pretty much do the first clip up under the C notch and then we run it down there. But back to the task at hand, this axle housing sort of thing. So my joiner is going to be up around here somewhere. So my first clip, I'm actually going to tag into this. I should have welded some tabs onto here, but I forgot all about it. And then I got all excited and I painted the bloody thing, and now I don't really want to do what I did up here. I just want to find some places to bolt them to. So my first one's going to be a little bit longer than 3 inches. They may pull me up on it, or they may just kind of like go, it's close enough. But I'm going to tag in one on here, and I'll put one there, and then the next one will be up here where it's fastened, it's not clipped, but it's fastened to the soft hose sort of thing. So that should be all good. I don't quite know why, like OEM stuff can be spaced out bloody half a meter with the brake lines, but with our cert thing, we have to have it 300 millimeters or 12 inches sort of thing with our clippage, P-clippage, rubber coated or nitrile or Teflon or whatever. It has to be kind of coated. It can't be steel on steel like factory stuff often is. Yeah, so still waiting for paint to dry. That's all just sitting there waiting, and I've been staring at this, trying to figure it out. Alright, so I've got this all bolted back up and the brake hose is connected. It's all clipped in, hopefully for the final time. I've done a few up and down checks to make sure that this just kind of like follows a nice clean path and doesn't rub on anything. So we should be good to go in that respect. I'm going to start with doing this brake line because it's just like, because it's there. And I've got to work out how long I need it. Do I grab a bit of welding wire and kind of do a mock-up one out of welding wire and give me an idea of how long I want to cut this stuff, or do I just kind of measure it, or do I just have a guess? I don't really know. So I'm going to try doing a bit of a measure somehow. So get about 130. I want to get a little bit of extra in there. 600. Just going to go up into there. So we want to say that piece about 950. I reckon. My pen. That's 950. Oops. Like that. Now I use my little cutting tool. I bought this years and years ago for cutting stainless steel, and it wasn't really very good for it because it kind of broke the blade a little bit, but it's alright on this stuff. So you just kind of give them a little tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, turn. Probably turning it the wrong way. probably a right way, or maybe that way, doesn't really matter I don't think. And just like that, cuts through there just like butter. Alright, that's my piece there. It's not very straight, but I'm going to be kind of curving it and bending it all over the place anyway, so I kind of thought it doesn't really matter if I straighten it out too much. The only straight runs I've got are kind of up the front of the chassis, so everything else is kind of like it all going all over the joint. Talking about those P-clips earlier, I have actually seen people drill and tap straight into the axle housing, but I'm a bit hesitant to do that because it just creates another potential leak point or weak point or something, I would think. So I won't do that. Alright, so that's it kind of roughed into where it's going to go, roughly. What I'll probably do now is put a flare nut on the caliper end. Oh, actually I can probably cut it down and do the flare nut. I need to cut maybe about that much off. So I was thinking maybe, just maybe, kind of coming up like that into there, just so it hugs that pumpkin a little bit more, you know. Yeah, so that gets us into the ballpark. Now I'll do the trim that up, have a crack at me double flares, and take it from there. Maybe I should just flare it where it is. See, it gives me a little bit more wiggle room. If I have to pull it back or whatever, it seems like a little bit long. Only just a bit too long. Alright, okay, lunchtime. Alrighty, so got the door open, get a bit more light going on and that for you. Just did that special for you guys. But rain's holding off at the moment. It's supposed to be thunder and heavy rain and shit again later on today, and there's massive flooding and slips and that all over the place, especially up north of us, up Auckland ways. What I might do before I go any further is actually put these on, just so I can kind of screw in the new lines and that when they're ready. Okay, so got those on there. That didn't take much doing, so they're pretty straightforward, just like the banjo style copper washers. That comes and clips into there with one of them little clippity doodads, and that's about it really. So battery's about to die on the old camera, so next up got this thing. I've used this before on the old bomb truck. I had another one years ago which wasn't a double flare set, this is the key difference with single flares versus double flares. So these little things here, I can't remember what size I need, 3/8, 3/16. That one there is what we'll use to do our flare. I'll get our little double flare so it kind of folds back in on itself, because they create a better, stronger, longer lasting seal apparently. I don't know why they would sell a single flare thing. This is a little cheapy kit, it's about $80 or something like that. Don't use it enough to buy one of those really cool hydraulic ones or the other Eastwood ones, and I know they would be definitely the way to go, but if I was doing it more often, then yeah, definitely. I know some people who've got them possibly that I could have borrowed, but I don't really like borrowing tools off like working mechanics and trade guys and stuff, because you know, this is their livelihood, this is my hobby, so I just want to do it with that way, and it works. It's just a bit slower and a bit more farting around, so I'm gonna do that then. But before I do that, I'm gonna change the battery on this camera so it doesn't die. Okay, got my flares, my flare nuts. First thing you do is put them on so you don't forget. I might even put a little bit of tape or something on there to hold that one on there while I do this one, just so I don't forget now that I've said that. Then we'll grab this piece here out, and then we'll grab the 3/16, 4.75 millimeters. This creates our kind of bubble, and then that creates our, on its own, pushes the bubble in, so we'll show you how that works. Right, oh that's right, I broke this. Damn it. I think I've got another one. I'll just go and see if I can find out. I broke it, been a bit of a overloading it, trying to flare stainless. Okay, back again. This is the one from my original cheaper kit, but it's actually got an extra thing for flaring. I don't know, you'd have to only be able to do copper with this sort of thing. It's not heavy duty enough to do anything more serious than that. But so we're going to start with just placing it on there. So I just had a thought, better give these a little bit of a whoop-de-doo with the file. Right, now I've got to set this to a depth. From memory, it's about the thickness of that little die there, and then got to get that little die thing in there, go like that maybe, and then I can use this. Might actually have this out a bit too far, I think. Oh, come on, get in there. And you're just going to slip. Do the first squeeze with that. Then we take that die there out, put it somewhere safe, and then do the next stage, which is, I don't know whether the camera actually saw any of that, but I had it pointing in the wrong place. And you bring it back up, and you do the second part of the flare. Like so. It's one little flare. How's that? Sweet, that worked. Right, I'll do the other side. Got my thing taped on there, you see. Thinking, get that bit of tape off, because I don't want to upset the apple cart with foreign objects and stuff. Set the depth, where's that little die? So set the depth with that, so it's too much, apparently, to about the thickness of the die, I think. From memory. I can't remember where I seen that. Can't find any instructions with this particular little kit. Get this man damn it tight as it. Don't want it slipping. Get that in the vise. Hold it there for us. Alright, that going. A little bit more filing. Remember to blow some air through this before I
put it on the vehicle. So step one. This isn't really a tutorial, this is just showing you how I've done it in the past, and I'm doing it this time. I think this is how I did it in the past. I really cannot remember that well. I've got these flare nuts on the right way around. English is my first language. Right, and we start squeezing that up. Nice and straight, hopefully. Why is that not going straight? Okay. Damn it. I'm going to have to do this again. Okay. Not how it's supposed to work. She's gone all sideways on me. I wonder. Oh dear. Right. Try again. Actually, I've got another one of these wheelie things somewhere. Yeah, so I've got another one of these, which might be better suited to this particular thingy. Try that. That's it. Take that, put it somewhere safe, and then step 2, do this. I wonder if I should put this in at the other end of the vise. It would probably make more sense, and then I could spin this thing in one shot. Right, nice and square, and then we do that second stage. Hope. Let's have a look, see. Did it recover, or is it stuffed? I think it's alright. Nah. Gonna have to cut that one off and do it again. Damn it. 2. Cut that off, having another crack at it, and moving the thing to the front of the vise means I can go like that. I wonder if I kind of got it wonky right at the beginning somehow. It's wanting to go crooked right at the beginning. Why is that? Is that because there's a slight bend in this bit of Bundy? Let's have a look. Take 3. Cut it off again and straightened it all out. Still wants to go like sideways. Why? The pressure on it wants to go that way. Maybe I'll cut. Try that. Gosh, I've got farting around just to do a little simple bloody double flare, eh lads? I did it again. What's going on? I've got too much sticking out. I'll figure this out and then we'll get back to you. Okay, so my fastidiously bent up first brake line is now too short because I have cocked it up about 4 times, trimmed it back. Now it won't reach really. But I did discover the little pin in this little doodad was crooked, so I tried to straighten it and snapped it. So I've just been endeavouring to fix that. So we might be a minute, or we might be a bust for flaring brake lines today with my El Cheapo brake line. It worked. The first one was mint, second one toast, third one toast, fourth one toast, fifth one, sixth one, brake line too short. Might be able to recycle that for the other side, but because that's got to be slightly shorter. But we'll see if we can get this thing working again, and yeah, take it from there. Well, I finally got the second flare done on my first piece of brake line, and it's now 5 o'clock. I started this little endeavour at about 10 o'clock this morning, and I spent probably the last 3 hours trying to modify that little thing after I broke it, and tried welding a new pin into it, and then I mucked up the whole kind of curvature of the inner part which makes the bubble, and then I had to grind it out, drill it out, butcher it up, and I finally got it to work. What a mission. It looks like a good flare. Should really have my glasses on, but once you crank them up tight enough, it'll be alright. I'm going to blow some air out of this, and then I'll fit this in place, and then I'll make the other one again. So, out of the vise and into flare number 3. Maybe. Just maybe. Where's my pliers? And then back to stage 2 or 5. Hopefully this will work. Oh, I need, oh no, that's right, don't need that, just straight into this thing now. Nah. No, well, I just done one and it worked. I turned the camera on and it doesn't work anymore. Oh. Yep, nah. Oh well, cut that off, start again. Okay, back at it. I actually got one to work again after cutting it off and doing it again, and with another slight modification to this little tool. I just had to put like a tiny little wee spacer right in there, which I cut out of some steel Bundy line. Oh, I don't know if this one's gonna work now. Damn it. God blimey. Why is it as soon as I turn the camera on it just goes completely sideways? Oh, I'm going to turn you off again. I'll come back when I finally get this right. Okay, as suspected, it's your guys' fault that I cannot do double flares in front of a camera. I don't know why, because as soon as I turned it off, cut it off, did the next one, it worked. I reckon it'll seal. We won't really know until we're kind of bleeding up the brakes, but hopefully it'll seal. Right. But anyway, I'm going to go and bolt this on. I'll blow some air through it first, then I'll bolt it on. Alright. Okay, so this is my brake lines. Just working on the P-clamp, clamping them into place. So I'm just going to drill and tap in here, and I've just bolted through that old sway bar bracket on both sides and stepped it up. This probably could have been a little bit shorter, but after today's flare nothing grief, I'll leave it as it is for now. Could possibly twist that bracket up the ways a little bit and kind of even out the step over across the top. Doesn't really matter, it's again not gonna be mirrors underneath it and stuff like that. So yeah, I just gotta figure out where to put these, mark them, punch them and drill them, tap them and whack some fasteners into there. So, alright, I reckon about there's as good a place as any, so I'll just go straight for the old centre punch. And get that out of the way. Drill a pilot. Pilot drilled. And tap the thread. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Oh, you. Oh dear. Oh well, figure that out. Alright, go and see if I can find another 6mm tap. Okay, so found another 6mm tap. Hopefully won't break it, because this is the last one and I just don't want to kind of break it, you know. That's it, yeah. That other one I had actually broken it before, but I kind of ground it down again. I think it was just really a pretty nasty kind of Chinese M tap or something, I don't know. Spring washer and a flat washer, overkill, I don't know. Probably. Just like that. Right, undo the other side over that way, and then that might be it. Call it for tonight. Hopefully my bump stops are going to miss all this. It should do. So, got those two pinned up. That's essentially the back brake lines kind of done. I might kind of go around trying to straighten some of my little wiggles and that out of them later. Maybe, probably not.
So that's that done, and that's enough for today. So it's raining again, summer. What a shit fight today was though, man. God, fighting this junk, fighting my junky tools. I can't, well, they say a good tradesman doesn't blame his tools, but I'm not a tradesman in any of this, so I can blame my tools, and I can then blame myself because I bought those junky tools when I should have probably just spent the money and bought better stuff. But, you know, like I've said before, it's like if you're using them all day, every day, then it's worth spending like the big coin. If you're just doing the odd little job, you probably should have spent the big coin rather than buying this. It's sort of, I managed to get one car done with it, and now half, kind of, not even half a car, half another car. Yeah, so, crikey, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. Well guys, that's where I'm going to leave this part of the brake line video on the Area 51 project. It just turned into a feature-length movie within the edit, so I thought I'd sort of chop it off on that kind of diff housing section before I move on to the running down the chassis and do some other stuff as well. But yeah, so you'll have to wait for the second part to see what happens in this exciting saga of the Area 51 brake line project. And yeah. Okay, I might edit that out. And yeah, so you'll have to kind of wait and see what happens for the next video to come out. How we get on, what changes we make, because some changes get made. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, take it easy and peace.